Okay, so in 1980, it started off with the circuit of, wait a minute, I got a guy, right? I know a guy in aviation circle, but within, like, I gotta ask, so, I gotta ask my guy, and then I'll get back to you, kind of a thing. Right, got it. Okay, so that's how it works. And the question was always, can you just, for your edification, and if you can tell me for mine, do we have as a planet a global plan for security? And they were always like, that is always a good question to know the answer to. Yeah, I get that. Okay, so here's what the landscape looked like when I woke up, or when I arrived in, I guess, like, you guys use POUND, but it's really now called a hashtag, HASHTAG, but it's 8378. When that happened, I was like, okay, so let's ask a couple of questions of the living brain dead around me, being the Gunders and the Cataruzas and the Flippos. They were all like, God, and they said not to talk to, somebody said not to talk to strangers, so I didn't. The outside world, there was something called a stock market, where you no longer put your money, I mean, my grandfather put his money in a bank, but then they wanted some kind of security industry. Now listen to the words. Right. Lewis couldn't get a job anywhere in the respectable fields, so he got a job as a stock broker in the securities industry. And then later on he said, because of his paid advertising from the enemy everywhere, that he is an investment banker. Meanwhile, the man has no fucking money and no whatever. So I didn't know how that was going to work out. So now here we are right, so then, like, some global securitors got on the phone. They're like, no, we have plans. Like, this is, like, you shouldn't be asking so many questions. That's what the military is for. Right, yeah, no, I get that, but, like, I'm just curious. I started looking for, because I wanted to know the question in the 9X, the love of my life, right? I didn't have his name and I didn't have his number when I came to in 1978. So how do you find, when you're star destined, how do you find your partner? If, right, for male, female, I don't know what you call it and whatever. Right, okay. So now, how do you find your extra special cosmonaut astronaut partner when you're only like a size 3 or 4 Soviet and you're going to be a full-size Soviet at like a standing 5'6"? Right, how do we get to somewhere else? Because he doesn't live in the local area. How do other people find their husbands and wives that they're... Right, because the locals around me said they didn't even know anything existed. Like, they just found whatever they went with lying around, and that didn't sound like a good plan, because I already had visions of mine, which was like godly places and not like dumb, deaf, and blind works. So I was like, right, okay, so that's not working for me because nobody's really giving a shit and nobody's like gonna work for me for free and ask questions for free. So we had to come up with like what would be a good way to get people to start talking and asking questions around the dumb, deaf, and blind sector of the New York extreme lack of anything useful. Right, okay, so now there's those things that fly. Well, what do? Right, they're like the cars, right, but we said the cars are the ones that are going to kill you. He's like, yeah, I was okay with that one, but now I'm thinking like a police officer. I'm like, if we do, right, I mean, local, it's right, Officer O'Malley's agreeing with you just in, right, and then if we go up to like a next caliber past Officer O'Malley in like the NYPD, which is what 1970s and 80s used, it was Irish. It was like the O'Malleys, the O'Reillys, the Irish are coming for the Italians elsewhere, right, got it, okay, so, and then the Italians were running the, right, friends, but not so close. Right, so those guys, which are really my favorites, right, because that's how I run things. But, so now they're thinking, like, right, if I was like O'Malley, not that I'm saying I would be like O'Malley, but if I was, right, and that was what they're telling us, is that moving these, that's what's giving us a real... Right, because it's easier to call ahead and get a permit number for one carrier or something private than it is to have 50 different cars going every which way. You're like, oh my god, that's mine! Oh my god, oh fuck! Right, yeah, see, me and the FBI guys and the CIA guy, right, we got that. And, like, the O'Malley guy laughed like hell. He's like, I'm going to pretend I didn't hear that. And I'm like, we're just cleaning up the world, making it safer for everybody's people. Right, so we sat down and we had like this little like what if game, me and a couple of like super adults, not anybody in my family. And so we were like, right, because there were important people in other people's families. I didn't know why I got delivered to the guys. I got the Nordics. Well, anyway, so then we were like, right, so now what's going on? What do you think's going on? I didn't even thought about asking about what's going on with like aviation, right? Alright, so now we got aviation, right, and so now, funny thing is, right, I get it on the ground with the cars. I'm now seeing the aviation again. One FAA tail number is easy, right, and agreed upon without, right, whatever, but then you start moving, like, well, I don't know, how many flights are they moving a day, like, but of, like, I mean, yeah, why are we moving, like, you know, so-and-so, like, this kid to Nana's for Christmas? Like, who the hell cares if she goes to college and if she gets, I know that our kids get angry that nobody's feeding them, but, like, right, they got a better life, actually, than the ones wanting to go to Nana's for Christmas just to have some corn, petro, aviation fluid going in all the gas tanks and killing us all by aviation. And, you know, like the Teamsters on the ground and are enough of a nightmare with this. What do you mean we're getting rid of the cars? What are my kids going to do? Right, okay, one thing at a time, because Kiddo brings up like a whole lot of good points and some scary shit going on, and like, right, okay, so now we got that going on. So what alarms did we set off? Quite a few, okay. I just want to marry one guy, like, I really didn't ask for, like, you guys to come after me with some venereal disease lie, and like some herpes and shit, like, I don't have, you mean we're herpes? Is that what you mean, like, herpes, like, she pees? Right, yeah, okay, see, that's what we don't talk about with people like crazy. Yeah, okay. So why are you giving her herpes, like, some kind of, like, letters that are gonna make other people, like, really upset? Because that's not a good idea for any of the wise guys that, right, knew things that, right, okay, maybe set off a few of the wrong alarms. Right, okay. Like, how do we fix things unless alarms go off? Hello? Right, okay, so now we got, like, the on-base guys going like, I wear a uniform, my shit gets locked in at night. Good luck! Call me when you need me, or wait if you have my number. Woo! Right, okay, so that happened, and then I got the guy in the field like, what do you mean we're locked out? It's like, the show The Walking Dead, oh my god, it is my life on screen, except you painted the faces, so this way you could do a head count as to what my daily life looks like. Okay, so that's that, and then since I arrived, that's how it's been. I didn't want to make after they talked to me for a little bit, they got it. They're like, yeah, our kids really aren't like you. I'm like, yeah, well, it's like having a cup of whatever. Alright, so now, Way to stay away from that word after somebody called in on whatever. So then we have, let's see, right, so now we have a global security plan. I haven't seen anybody put it into action. In my lifetime, right, they increased the travel to Nanas for Christmas with the kids that we don't give a shit about, and if all of the fucking planes just give me the fin number of my one. Like, there's a couple of us that actually are important in the world, and the rest of them, we don't give a shit. It's like a lot of, for the rest of us, we're like, oh, did that? Oh, no, there's these more kids that don't fucking listen. Right, okay. So then we've got, let's see about this, right, then we've got pharmaceuticals, right, that didn't exist, like, no, my grandfather in 1910, there was no drug companies, like, they got Polo, I mean, they were just coming out with vaccines, just coming out with them in 1911, 1910, to my dad's age of like 1940 something. They just started getting vaccines, there was no health insurance, there was no automobile insurance. There was none of the extras that you keep tacking on, and none of my generation even questions. They're just like, here you go. Like you're like some extortion experts in what the fuck are you? Is that what all those nuclear reactors are doing now? Like, what the fuck for the kids that, oh, is that the quick match? Like, we get rid of them all in one? Like, oops, oh, right, yeah, well, we told you to fucking listen. We were doing some global shit, like, insecurity, and you're fucking building nuclear reactors, like, as if nobody noticed. Right, okay, like, spacecraft just fucking disappears, and you're like, oh, I got a nuclear plant I gotta build first before I go looking for anything spacecraft alien. Right, okay, so we're gonna have the master switch in our corner of the world in case they don't listen later on. Okay, so we've got like insurance houses for health, insurance houses for cars that never existed, right? They've got pills for everything now, they got hospitals for everything. I'm pretty sure even when I went to visit Alonso in Italy up in like Cortina Valley, there was no hospital. You have a doctor with the really handsome, smart Italian Stellapini, right? I'm the Stellapini, right? They have like some military school for the children, so this way they don't grow up deaf, dumb, and blind. They actually teach them things, and then they go back to their villages and they travel and they help the people. At least that's the way it used to work. I don't know why the New York and the union members of Nobody Gives a Shit, right, why the hell they couldn't fix their corn when, like, on the way into the English Channel that you all dug for yourselves with Elizabeth at the helm going, right, so she's the friendly queen, right, I'm the one who has to say things, and then everybody gets mad at me, I'm the Xavier. You know what, that is going to become a handy word in the future. I'm going to hang on to that one, yeah, we'll pass that one around the office for the, we didn't build nuclear power plants because we're trying to actually fix shit. Right, okay, so now we've got, right, so where did all the insurance money go, and why is it all public health care, and why are the kids from I never wanted to fucking know what they smelled or looked like now on my land in New York? I'm just curious. Anything that was here in like 1970s. I was late 70s, but again, this is not the first time we made contact with your humanness. I mean, I'm alien genetics. We come before Winkle, and like we check on the kids. It's amazing that now I'm here and there's nobody to check on the kid. She's here. Right, no, get that. So where is the man that I was born for before more shit goes missing and bigger problems exist? Right, because I'm one of those kids, like, I can get shit done. I just need a couple of people. Like, I don't need a lot. Just a few good men somewhere in the world. Like, yeah, and I don't mess with women because, like, I'll talk to your woman, but I don't, yeah, no, don't ask me to go meet them, seek them out. That tips off a whole nother area that I already made promises to of the really important things in the world. Right, okay, so that New York apparently, like, whatever. So now I've been left here on this, like, exhibition of I never signed up for this, never said this was okay, and the world has surely changed.